Alrighty, what's up guys, Single Player Nacho here, back with another creepy corpse video, where we'll examine 10 unexplained or otherwise mysterious bodies found in Resident Evil games. Death kinda sucks, and these 10 people could not find the means to survive truly horrifying situations. I put up a poll last week to see which RE location you guys thought you'd survive, and the majority went to the police station. A police station filled with fully armed and experienced dead cops. If they didn't make it, I know I wouldn't. First up, Resident Evil Dead Aim, the Hanging Woman. Welcome aboard the Spencer Rain, an Umbrella Company-owned cruise ship, and that tells you everything you need to know. The Spencer Rain carries hundreds of crewmen, Umbrella employees, and staff, who then turned into T-virus zombies, thanks to an intentional contamination throughout the entire ship. There are various remnants of the crew found in the beginning stages of the game, but none more noteworthy than the Hanging Woman. I have no doubt in my mind that this unnamed woman was infected and took the easy way out before going full flesh-eating mode. But still, what happened here? It is something that's pretty common in Resident Evil games. The thought of taking such an extreme measure, as well as the circumstance of being in a ship filled with zombies, is very unnerving. Of course, the Hanging Woman is also the very first zombie you have to face in Dead Aim, and you gotta put her down for good. Next up, Resident Evil 0, Body Disposal. This is one of the most grotesque sights you'll see in Resident Evil 0. After reuniting with Billy, who was also on the verge of becoming a corpse himself, you'll ironically find yourself in a very disgusting smelling place, a makeshift body disposal waste site. I guess you can't really say these are corpses, since they are essentially just bones laying around. In the prior cutscene, Billy has a flashback which may explain the origin of the bones.
They must have been used as test subjects in Marcus's research. He must have kept messing around with the mother virus.
These were either test subjects or the helpless villagers that Billy's squad was ordered to kill. Nevertheless, it's a very gross sight to behold. I mean, the fact that there's a running sewer pipe makes me think that they were simply dumped in a river. It's a mysterious thought, indeed. Resident Evil 4, the prison cell victim. Surprise, surprise, Resident Evil 4 is a game that has so many unexplained bodies. I mean, it makes sense with how long the game is. This is the prison cell, but prisoners are not the only ones that it inhabits. This is also a nest egg for the invisible insect predators known as novistadores. They spit acid and claw their victims to an early grave. Even stranger than all of that is, why is there a village ganado in the prison castle? This guy was given, at least it seems like, a quick slash to the throat. What did this guy do to endure such horrible punishment? Why was he singled out by Salazar? There are rumors of a possible villager retaliation throughout the game, with so-called traitors of the Illuminados being put to death. But this is still a body that has gone cold and unsolved. Resident Evil 2 Classic, The Backstabbed. Zombies are a hungry bunch, and they don't really count their calorie intake. They just chew and gnaw on whatever they can find. In RE2 Classic, however, the outbreak doesn't leave out a mysterious murder scene. During the epilogue, there is a man sitting in a diner that is dead on arrival, and if you look closely, he'd been stabbed various times in the back with at least 4 different knives. What the hell happened here? I tried going to the remake to see if this had been replicated to find more answers, but sadly, the scene didn't make the cut. Pun. Could a T-virus zombie actually be capable of stabbing someone? Did they want a more precise cut? If you keep walking, you'll see a horde of zombies feasting on a victim. This feast, along with the knife-stabbed guy at the diner, could just be a visual aesthetic to show how hungry these twerps can be. Or could this guy have known a little bit too much about Umbrella? That's definitely a mystery. Resident Evil Village, Werewolf Basement. If you ever needed an introduction to how ravenous and beastly the Lycans are in Resident Evil Village, look no further than the werewolf basement. You can find this within the first 10 minutes of the game, so you already know you're in for a wild Ethan hand ride. That sounds wrong. After losing the old man to a mysterious hairy hand, you'll get dragged through the entire cabin, a cabin that seemed like a safe place from the horrors of the village. What you'll find underneath the cabin is almost indescribable, a pile of dead, nameless villagers. This is how you know the werewolves are insanely primal compared to past enemies in the series. They have a literal feeding ground used for a hibernation cycle. There is so much mystery still as to where the Lycans even get this behavior from, given that they are bred from the mold and not actual wolves. The village is an extremely vile place and a haven for feeding. I'm sure this isn't the only villager nest you'll find. There's gotta be more of these located underneath the cabins. Resident Evil Code Veronica, the suspended doll. Now this is one of the more unsettling ones. Code Veronica features the villainous Ashford twins, who are actually clones and are pretty much in love with each other. Yuck. But that's just a setup for what you'll find in their private residence. It's a lavish 2-floor building. Toys and decorations are found all over the place. But the main attraction here is the suspended doll. This thing is so big it practically reaches the ceiling. Now, in no way is this thing alive, thankfully. But if you look closely, unexplained or inexplicable blood stains and spatter is found on this thing. What's really going on in the Ashford's private residence? Is this thing secretly alive or dead? Worse yet, the doll is modeled after Alexia Ashford herself, making things 1,000 times creepier. There is something about this place, whether it's the soundtrack or the massive doll that follows you in nearly every camera angle. Resident Evil 3 Remake, Maintenance Worker. With all the madness that's going on during a zombie outbreak, you're bound to see a few interesting stragglers who died and left behind a clue or two as to what the hell they were doing in their final moments. In Resident Evil 3's remake, you'll come across a drain demo's nest, which must smell like 1,000 pounds of expired meat. Either that, or the smell leads to this bloated up corpse, which seems harmless at first. A bit of Jill sandwich pressure causes the body's stomach to completely rupture, and tiny insects spread out. Very disgusting. But it's what this dude was carrying that is a little baffling and mysterious. A lockpick. Was there simply a busted lock somewhere within the power plants, or was this guy trying to do some pre-nuke thieving? I have no idea what valuables you'd find in a power plant, but this guy definitely didn't find anything besides death. A note found nearby explains that a key had been missing, so it's a very suspicious incident. Resident Evil 5, Disposed Bodies. There is just no telling what you'll find inside a BOW laboratory. Throughout Resident Evil 5, there are distinctly sucked up bodies, formerly known as disposed bodies. They're pretty harmless, but that isn't their strangest asset. These are victims of tri-cell engineering, and the bodies, whoever they used to be, have been completely denourished, emptied of any and all life force. I actually believe some of them may be barely alive, though there's just no way to truly tell. Just reminds you of the many atrocities committed by the ultimate shady shadester. Resident Evil 7, Clancy Jarvis. Yes, everyone's favorite fanny pack cameraman returns to the fold. Clancy was introduced as a newly hired cameraman for the Sewer Gators, a bunch of inept twerps that ventured into supposedly haunted houses. Well, they ventured into the Baker residence, and that's how you know that they filmed their final episode. Andre gets a nice deep throat by way of a gas pipe, I think. And Pete is decapitated shortly after trying to break Clancy free. Clancy then endures a hellish nightmare of each and every evil baker, killing Molded with Jack, eating Marguerite's horrible home cooking, which I'm pretty sure has some of his now deceased employers, playing 21 with a strung out looking J-Station, Lucas Baker, and finally, the main event, a birthday puzzle. After going through all of that, Clancy is burned alive. Fast forward to Ethan Winters' arrival to the Baker house, and you'll see what's left of Clancy, holding a code. He is completely charred and roasted. The biggest mystery is why Clancy was the main spectacle. Does it show the psychotic tendencies of the molded bakers and the mold in general? And that always kill and win mentality. I don't know, I just want to know why they were so mean to Clancy and what they did with his fanny pack. I mean, it must have survived the fire. And last but not least, Resident Evil Remake, The Disappearing Body. The Spencer Mansion offers a few corpses left behind, whether it's Umbrella employees or half of Bravo team. None are more mysterious than the disappearing man. You'll eventually get to a corridor that features bird cages and a staircase that leads to the even more secretive mirror hallway. But down here, there is a dead man with various injuries. As you continue to play the game and revisit certain areas, you'll find that other corpses come back to life, or worse yet, as Crimson Heads. But not this one. If you revisit the birdcage room, the dead man has completely gone missing. And it goes missing before Crimson Heads are even active. In fact, it goes missing very, very quickly. No new zombies are added after exploring the mansion, so there's no definitive proof that it just walked into another area, though that is possible. I mean, the dead are literally rising. I think this is one of the unique scares in the Resident Evil series that goes into the paranormal, and the devs placed it, or replaced it, to scare the player. But we may never know the truth. Well, thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you thought was the most mysterious body or corpse that you've personally experienced in a Resident Evil game. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more horror lore, lists, and mysteries. Have an awesome rest of your day, and as always, stay single.